Dana White actually had a little bit of, I guess, a tiff with James Aldean. Or not, I guess I don't know if it's a tiff. I don't know the way to describe it. But what happened was it was James Aldean's show in Vegas, or it was the festival. He was on stage when the shooting happened in Vegas. And Dana White, I guess, invited him to come to UFC 216 and perform the national anthem to open up the show. And I guess he declined the invite. Dana White went out and was like, oh, he doesn't want to perform or whatever it is. I guess he said something. Dana White publicly said something about him not wanting to perform that quickly or something. And then James Aldean performed on Saturday Night Live that same Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry, not James. Jason Aldean. I apologize. Jason Aldean.
How do you feel about that, Lewis?
I mean, here's the deal. Like, look, Dana's pissed, and he's a little bit, I guess he said, fuck James or Jason Aldean. He's not welcome.
Is it James or Jason?
I think it's Jason, right?
Where is Jason Aldean from? I'm assuming not Las Vegas.
Yeah, probably not Vegas. He said he's not welcome.
Well, Dana is, he's got Las Vegas blood running through his veins. And I'll say this. Dana he wasn't himself this week. I mean, I didn't spend that much time with him, but he's very subdued at that press conference. I mean, for example, when they said, what does it mean to have George St. Pierre back? And he went, awesome. He was very subdued. He wasn't his normal self. So I'm assuming, this affected him quite deeply. He lives there. He knows people involved. So, I mean, it was a terrible tragedy. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like. I mean, just driving past the Mandalay Bay and seeing those windows smashed out, which were still there like that. I mean, that was surreal, very eerie. It was just not a nice. It's just weird. They're only smashed windows, but those windows represent and symbolize what happened. So Dana, I mean, it's a touchy thing for him. The UFC did a fantastic job. I think they gave out 1,500 tickets to the first responders and some of the victims that were injured, and that's fantastic. And of course, he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the guy. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Maybe he had a pre-existing booking with Saturday Night Live. And who knows? Maybe he felt he could reach more people by doing it.
Well, that's
on Saturday
also
Night
true.
Live.
It's a very good point. And also,
what I mean? Maybe he felt he could reach more people on Saturday Night Live as opposed to a UFC event. So.
I'll tell you, Dana. It's the reason I love Dana White, and I think he's great, is because he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think a lot of time you throw a camera in somebody's face. He was just very harsh. But yeah, I mean, look, maybe you're right. Maybe that's as simple as that, dude. A UFC pay-per-view with Mighty Mouse. Maybe he knows. Maybe he's a big MMA fan. He's like, that's not going to be a lot of people watching.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, fuck Mighty Mouse. Who's he fighting? Ray Borg? Ray Borg? If he was fighting TJ, we'd be there. Okay?
You're like, dude, what am I supposed to do?
He pulled out of 215.
275,000 pay-per-view buys? Come on. What am I going to do?
Are you fucking serious? Yeah, never in a lifetime. But if he had been there, he would have pulled off he would have seen the sickest submission that we've seen for quite some time in the UFC. I mean, that
up there for one of the best.
Takedown to the armbar, man, Mighty Mouse, good job. That was incredible.
It was the throw. He did a fucking hip toss. I don't even know. I don't fucking know the names of these moves. It was like a hip toss into an armbar.
A lot of people called it a suplex, and I saw Ben Askren got on Twitter and talked some shit to some people saying that wasn't a suplex.
What was it? What was the technical?
I don't know, I'm not a wrestler. It was kind of like a half suplex thingy bob. Picked him up and slammed him to the floor and then stuck him in an armbar.
And you're a winner by half suplex thingy bob.
Yeah. Half suplex thingy. But yeah, amazing. Ray Borg hung tough for a while. He scrambled well, got a couple of takedowns. But he was no match for Mighty Mouse. I mean, Mighty Mouse is the 125 king. Simple as that. He's the only guy that's ever been the champion. We all know that. And nobody's beating him anytime soon. Now that he's defended and has the record for the most consecutive wins, I'm hoping now that he steps up a weight class or something like that, because I think he needs to. 11 defenses or 10 defenses, whatever it is. I mean, that's incredible. It is incredible. Mighty Mouse says, it's easy to become a champion. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it's easy at 125, pal. Yeah. It's not too easy at 185. When you're fighting those little tiny guys, yeah, you're right, it is. When you're fighting men, it's a little different. But I think he needs to move on now, fight somebody else. He's done everything he can at 125. But
not for nothing, I think that he would I think he could kill at 135. I'm telling you right now, dude, he is so good. It's not like he's even struggled slightly. When's the last time we even saw him lose a round? I think it was like a few years ago, the first time that he fought what the fuck's his name?
Well, the thing is, you got to remember that he has a loss to Dominic Cruz and he has a loss to Brad Pickett, and these are guys that fight above him. Right?
Yeah.
Well, Brad Pickett fought at 125 as well, but still,
and he retired,
he's lost to Dominic Cruz as well at 135. So he's thinking, obviously he's thinking that it's only natural as a human being and as a competitor. You think, well, Dominic Cruz beat me at 135. Why do I want to go back up there and fight the guys that beat Dominic Cruz? Not that TJ beat him, but it was an incredibly close fight.
Yeah, but it's a way different Demetrious Johnson now. I mean, dude, he looks unbeatable. He's
got way better since then as well. Way better. I mean, his skill set now is ridiculous. Those 11 title defenses, I might be wrong here, but I think he's finished 7 of them, which is insane. You know what I mean? So he's a very, very high finishing rate for a lightweight, because, of course, flyweights, everybody says no finishing power, no knockout power, all this and that. But if he's finishing 7 out of 11 title defenses, I mean, that is a stat to be very, very proud of. So, listen, in short, Mighty Mouse is the man. It's as simple as that.
I think that, look, here's the thing, right? People can't, I think the human mind, right, it needs to connect a story in order to really get behind it. It's why every fucking, every UFC intro package has an interesting story behind it. I think that people need to kind of connect point A to point B to point C. And the problem is when, you have Mighty Mouse fighting all these dudes that don't have these crazy long histories in the UFC, it's kind of difficult to really there's no emotion behind that story. It just seems like it reminds you of Saturday morning pro wrestling when the guys would come in and they'd beat up the scrub that was already in the ring. You just didn't really care. You're like, all right, it's not really a special thing. Yeah, you like him. Yeah, you're cheering, but you're just going, it's not really a big deal. That's not the big show. And that's what I feel like the problem is with Mighty Mouse. He has to have the story. So he needs the crazy rematch. He needs the Dominic Cruz fight. That's the fight that should happen next. He should go up and he should fucking, he should avenge that loss. He should show up at Brad Pickett's fucking doorstep with a hammer and smash his door down and say, come out of retirement, bitch. I need to beat you. You need that story in order to get people behind you, and he doesn't have it. It's just a bunch of fucking, he's dominating everybody, but it seems like he's dominating a bunch of dudes that nobody cares about.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, because, and no disrespect to him, he's a hardworking young guy and he's been successful, but who is Ray Borg? Ray Borg isn't somebody that people are emotionally invested in, and they weren't emotionally invested in that fight. Yes, people are invested in watching Demetrious Johnson, the best, so they say pound for pound fighter in the world. So they want to see him. They want to see him perform, but you need 2 to tango. That's why another reason why I wanted the George St. Pierre fight. I just thought there was a good story there. I mean, of course, I've been around for a long time. I'm an old school guy. George is an old school guy. So, there's a lot of history there, and it goes into what you just said. Ray Borg, some of the other people that he's beaten, even guys like Henry Cejudo, terrific athletes, but just there isn't the length of time served in the UFC, time served in the spotlight for people to really buy into it. You know what I mean? And that isn't anyone's detriment. It isn't anyone's fault. That's just the state of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, well done to him. That was incredible. Fabrizio Verdun went out there and armbarred somebody. Walt Harris in record time, so I don't even think he broke a sweat. So, congrats there. Main event: Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee.
Mike, before we get into the main event, I wanted to do a little aside, and we also have to talk about our sponsors really quick because
hey, can I have a quick pee?
That's really funny. Hold on. Can I even before you pee? Listen to me. That's fucking
because
really
I'm
funny.
dying for a piss. I've had 2 coffees and a giant thing of water. But I know what you're going to say, Joe Rogan, right?
Yes, that's the aside that I was going to say. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Were you actually going to talk about that then?
I swear to fucking God, I was going to say, hey, a little aside, because we had mentioned the packages before, and people are giving him shit. I don't know if anybody's really giving him shit, but they shouldn't.
Why? What? I didn't see this. Why? What happened?
Okay, so what happened was they go to one of the packages, Can
you literally just keep talking? I can see the toilet from here. I can hear you whilst I pee.
Okay, I'll tell what happens while you pee. Hold on.
You just talk very slowly for about 30 seconds.
Can you bring the microphone so we can hear you pee? For all the perverts that are out there that want to hear the champion pee, we can sell that. We can sell the sounds of Michael Bisping peeing to some sort of weird, like, fetishist perverts out there. I guarantee there's dudes out there that do that. Our producer, Mike Harrington, in studio, shaking his head like he'd be the one to do it. Okay, so Mike, I know you're listening right now. So here's what happened: they went to cut to one of the memorial packages for, the shooting in Vegas, and they hadn't cut. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm back.
So they hadn't cut Joe Rogan's microphone when they cut to the package, and it was just very faintly on. You could hear Rogan just go, "Do I got time to take a whiz?"
Hey, when you gotta go, Lewis.
As simple as that, dude. It's so funny though.